It is Friday, February 3rd, 2023, and we are here for Astro Chat and Chill. I am in a really good mood this morning. I don't know what my deal is. I actually was just looking at my transits to see if maybe there is something that I can, like, what is my deal? I don't know. I think I'm just feeling really good. I feel like I just finished or not finished, but I have been working on a big project for a while, and I just showed the people that it's for, and the response so far has been really, really positive. So very excited about that. And yeah, so we are gonna talk a little bit about the astrology of the day and then just see where the day takes us. We definitely are gonna talk about the astrology of the weekend because over the weekend we're going to be having our full moon in Leo, of course, so definitely gonna be talking about that. But I think what I wanna do first actually is just show you the thing, right? Because I think I'm just too excited about it right this second. So if I just talk about it really quick and get it out of my face, get it out of the way, then maybe we can talk about something else and I won't be so consumed by it. So let me just show you really quick. I'm so excited. Oh, nope. Nope. Gotta, oh, shit. Not gonna show you. Yeah, because I updated my computer and who knows where my gameplay thing is at right now. So, are we not going to be sharing the screen today? It's just going to be you looking at my beautiful face today. All right, I guess. So I will share that with you on Monday. Who cares? So today we have still from the last started yesterday. You know, we're going to be moving through the next couple of days, the sun squaring Uranus. And maybe this is part of the reason that I'm feeling really good, because sun squaring Uranus, this is just a really excellent time for doing you. Feeling very expressive, feeling like it's time to break away from the normal patterns. It's time to try something different, and especially something that has been I told them in my Discord last night, I have just been itching to share this with them for a couple of weeks now, but I wanted to make sure that I had everything ironed out before I went and I shared it with them. And it's just that we're scaling my membership program, right? Rather than it being just a one single level where, everyone has access to everything. I've basically split it into more of an informational level and then more of a mastermind level. And everyone is so excited about it, and especially because at the mastermind level, we're going to be really sinking our teeth into a lot more of the astrology, and not just here is Venus. Venus is the planet of love and relationships, but really, really getting into, okay, what does this mean about you and your core values? How can you use this information to better understand yourself, what it is that you're after, what the people in your lives are interested in and driven toward, and then how to use that to actually motivate yourself toward your goals. So all kinds of stuff, right? And that's just one example. That just happens to be the focus for February, because Valentine's Day and Venus in Pisces, just a very very romantic time. So it's a time to be talking about that. But I would love to see you next month. I don't even know what we're going to talk about next month. Saturn, maybe? Saturn? I don't know. Pluto? If you're here from the Discord, from the Astro Mind, then feel free to chime in over in Discord or let me know in the chat what it is you want to hear about. So yeah, we've got the sun doing its thing with Uranus in a square. Now if you're someone who if you are not, I was thinking about it in the shower, I feel probably half the reason that people want to come work with me is just because they want my audacity. And when I say audacity, I'm not an obnoxious person. I just mean I am audacious. I have the audacity to do me, period. I'm never going to live for anybody else, not even my kid. I am a good provider and I'm a great parent. I'm attentive, but I'm not going to nail myself to the cross for her benefit, because nobody asked for that, and that's not doing anything for her anyway. This is my life and I've got to live it, okay? And if I've got to live it every day, then I should be at least content and happy with what I get, right? I don't know why this is like such a like concept, but I don't know. So Sun square Uranus, if you have been fighting yourself, if there's an urge inside of you, if there's something you've been wanting to try, something different, something new, something, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what? Like, I can't even, everybody's gonna think I'm an idiot, or like everybody's gonna judge me, or like what happens if I fail? Right? Like, don't worry about it. This is a time where if you've been feeling like that, you're gonna be feeling like friction inside of yourself. Like you may be feeling frustrated. Oh, you know what? I should go talk about this inside of my Discord too. I'm gonna like clip this and make sure I go share it with them, because we've been having quite a few people mentioning having this like kind of anxious like frustration, and of course for my Astro minders, I do like look at their charts, and you tell me like, hey, I'm just like not feeling great, or I'm feeling anxious, blah blah blah, whatever, and we go through physiologically, like, are you sleeping? Are you eating? Have you hydrated? Go through all of those, because literally, like, you could be, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious. That meme, right? Like, girls be like, I don't know why I'm so anxious, like, pours her third cup of iced coffee for the day. It's like, if you're not taking care of your body, of your, reducing your cortisol, regulating your nervous system, you're gonna feel more anxious. You're gonna feel like it's hard to deal with everything going on. But if after we go through those like check boxes, and it's like, okay, so your human body is like fine, and we're still feeling anxiousness, I will go look in your transits and say, oh, we've got this trine or this opposition or this whatever, to kind of help you make more sense of what it is that's going on. So I'm going to share this with them in there too, because I'm sure that this Sun square Uranus situation is definitely not adding, right? I don't know, for some people it just might be like the push you need, Then we've got the Venus, and this is direct yesterday, so it's really on its way out. But we have Venus sextiling both of the lunar nodes, right? And so this is just like, again, a really lovely feeling. And with the nodes being like the North Node being in Taurus right now, Venus being in Pisces, honestly, this is a really great time for like physical expressions of like love and creativity, physical show of appreciation. And what better way to like lead into, like, what better energy to carry into a full moon in Leo weekend? Hello. Now, and on top of all this, it's almost like the universe is conspiring in our favor. You know what I mean? Because then we also have Venus squaring Mars. Now that is direct tomorrow, right? So it starts today and then it carries through until Sunday. But Venus squaring Mars is, again, not the same as Venus squaring Uranus. But it's going to Venus squaring Uranus, the Sun squaring Uranus. I just get similar vibes from them, where I guess the Sun squaring Uranus is going to be more about like personality and like wanting to be like fully expressed. Like, I want to do me, like I want to be seen as who I am. Where Venus squaring Mars is going to be more like relational, more like between other people. It's going to be, am I like moving toward the things that are motivating me? It's like, when we have a square, people want to say it's, a negative. I don't like, are they positive? Are they negative? Again, I don't really like to look at charts that way. Like, I don't read it as like if you've got Saturn in Sagittarius, like someone might say like, oh, that's in detriment. Like, oh, that's not a good place for it to be. I disagree. Like, I think that it's exactly where it is. And though Saturn may not be super comfortable there, there's a reason for you having it there. And there is a high, potential like outcome for this. Like, no one is doomed. Like, like no one is doomed to have a terrible life or for everything to be tragic and bad. It's really all about like learning how to respond to things in a different way and like growing into your best self. So when I see squares, I don't see them as negative or as conflict. I see this as opportunities for us to grow, right? A square is almost like you've come up against a wall, and instead of like sitting down and saying, well, I guess I'm going to die here in front of this wall because can't go anywhere, you're going to like scale it instead. You're going to find like a completely different way of looking at the wall and approaching the wall, and you're going to be like at a different level because you're going to be like on top of it, like 4D, you know? So that is like my interpretation of squares. So when I see Venus squaring Mars, what I'm seeing is, you know, being maybe emotionally motivated toward one thing and then being physically motivated toward another, right? That like maybe with Venus being in Pisces, it's like, oh, I really want this like lovely, sweet, like emotional connection. Like I really want this like creative expression. But then Mars in Gemini is like, oh, but what? Oh, but where, right? Like who, right? Maybe indecisive, or maybe just like not willing to like settle down to do that, right? But it's like, how are you going to develop intimacy with someone until you do that? It's really hard to develop intimacy in a fling or in, you know, a one-off, like it's hard to develop intimacy, let's say, like in my, right, at the yoga studio, like I can talk to people for a few minutes, but like that's not intimacy. Like it would be connecting later to like go get a cup of coffee or to, you know, go get lunch together or, you know, whatever. But connecting in a deeper, you know, more like intimate way, like that I think is the message that I'm really getting from this particular Venus squaring Mars situation, is that we have this like craving for like connection and creativity and intimacy, but at the same time it's like I don't know what to pick, I don't know how to settle down, I don't know what to choose, and I think that that's also this like kind of like illusion in our minds of people. I see this every day. It's like people are so hesitant to make a choice or make a decision about something because then it's like, okay, well then that's my decision. And it's like, what, like, who is, I don't know, like my mastermind group, right? I have had this open since November of 2021. It felt like the correct time for us to change things. So I did. If I don't like it, or if then I can change it again or whatever. I never see decisions or like anything as in, I mean, there are very few decisions that are like so permanent that you can't undo them, you know. Having a kid, maybe. Like I really can't think of anything else right this second. And even that, it's not that, well, it's not that you can't undo it, okay? There are definitely also, right, like alternatives there. Like my biological mother had at least 3 children and she did not raise any of them. So, right, there are definitely alternatives to like any decision that we make. So it's not, it is an illusion that you're like stuck in your situation the moment you make a choice, right? What happens next may be different, but you're never stuck. And I think that that's also something that we're trying to get over during this season, or like these particular 2 transits for sure, because Sun squaring Uranus and then Venus squaring Mars. Yeah, there's definitely this energy here of like, here's what I want and I am stuck here, and what the fuck am I supposed to do about that? And so I would just really encourage you to be gentle with yourself and to be more explorative. As we move into the full moon this weekend, right? Full moons are times of reflection, a time of closing. I am really glad that I'm actually getting back out here and going to be doing new moon and full moon gatherings in my group again, because I haven't done those in quite a few years. And this is like one of those weird like astrologer things that like kind of like grinds my gears when I see posts during lunar events. Because so many people want to like talk like they know what they're talking about, and it's just like the moment that they post about like setting intentions during a full moon or like releasing things during a new moon. I'm like, you just stop. I would just stop. Go do the thing that you're doing. Anyway, whatever. And that's not my circus. The full moon is a time of reflecting. It is an analogy for birth, right? For like the birth cycle. Okay, so when the moon is full, this is like full pregnant belly, like about to release, right? And so when we're thinking about like the full moon, the other analogy that I use is like the lights, right? The lights are all on, right? So it's like if there is dust in the house, if there is like stuff that is like making things like not feel good or making things feel like dirty or gross or whatever, you're not going to be able to ignore it during the full moon, okay? And a great way of, using the lunar cycles is in the 6-month period, right? So if we're in a full moon in Leo, what you can do is reflect back to the new moon in Leo over the summer, right? In Leo season, what seeds did you plant there? Now, Leo is ruled by the sun. And so when we think about Leo, a lot of times people will generalize the low expression of Leo as being like selfish or like full of themselves or whatever. But Leo is ruled by the sun, and without the sun, we would not have life. And so it's not, when a Leo is in their like higher expression, it's not that they're self-centered or needing of attention. It is that you can't look away from them, even though maybe it hurts a little bit, right? Because they just glow, right? When a Leo is in power, they are life-giving. And that is really what this energy is all about. And when we think about this in the context of the 5th house, yes, this can be about love and relationships. And, people talk about like this being like a very romantic, full moon. And I don't think that it's not, especially given, the Venus and Pisces of it all and some of the other things that are going on. But what this, right, full moons are always, right, excuse me, I'm like listening to this amazing set right now. I'm just like, LPGO is killing it. So lunar events, right, are dictated by wherever the sun is. So new moons are in the same sign as the sun, and full moons are on the opposite side of where the sun is. So because we have the sun in Aquarius, we'll have the full moon in Leo. And so what you want to think about is the duality that's there, right? So when we're thinking about the full moon in Leo, this is a releasing period, and it's a releasing period of like, where am I being like too performative for like everybody else? Or where am I giving too much to myself and I'm not giving enough to, the collective? And it's that balancing time. I'm committed to my mission. I'm committed to my community, the Aquarius of it all. And I'm also committed to myself. I am committed to my heart and to the things that bring me joy. And that's where like relationships get kind of mixed up in the 5th house. I think of the 5th house more as like fling and friends, right? I call it the fun friends and flings house. Because the 7th house is the house of like partnership, like marriage, like commitment, right? So 5th house is more about like fun, like where do I have fun? I talk about the 5th and the 11th house is like, the 5th house is like your friends, like the people you want to hang out with and like go to brunch with or whatever. And the 11th house is like your community, like the people you want to like link up arms with, and like you're going to go like fight for, one another. Like we're all going to work together to create the new community that we want to see. That's the 11th house, right? And so over the full moon weekend, this is a really great time for you to be evaluating like what you require to have more balance here, right? Are you giving way too much to the community and you're like putting yourself dead ass last? Because that's not going to work. It's like putting the oxygen mask on first. A lot of what I'm also seeing this weekend is about verbalizing your needs. Again, like Venus squaring Mars even, and this will go through to the full moon on Sunday, is Venus is squaring Mars during this time. Again, just really coming back to like, if you want intimacy, you're going to have to ask for it. Like, you're going to have to like spend some time somewhere and verbalize that, or however, right, you communicate. Let's see, tomorrow we'll have the void of course moon like overnight. Okay, so that'll be like, or well, I say overnight, like my time, right? So Eastern time. So this is like by the time I wake up in the morning, even to go to my 8 o'clock yoga class, we will have the moon already in Leo. So the void of course will be over. Someone asked me a question about Lilith in my group recently, and I was going to talk about it a little bit today, but because I can't share my screen, I don't want to do that, because I want to be able to like give you different examples. So put that on. Shannon, if you're here, if you're listening, if you're watching my replay, hello, Shannon. I'm going to have to do that a different day when I have like reconfigured my my screen capture stuff. So thanks for your patience, and we just have something new to look forward to. Not a whole lot going on tomorrow other than like what we've already been talking about. And then, yeah, same thing goes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we've got the full moon on Sunday. If you want an exact time, right? So I'm, again, Eastern time. The exact time of the full moon is going to be 1:20 p.m. Eastern time. So you can adjust that accordingly. But the thing that I was like, whatever, like responding to is that, yes, we're still going to have Venus squaring Mars. But didn't I just say you're going to have to ask for it? Like, you're going to have to like be vulnerable and ask for what your needs are, right? Ask for your needs to be met. So on Sunday, we have Mercury in a sextile with Neptune, which is exactly what I'm saying. And because Neptune is in Pisces, at some point next week, we're going to have Venus conjunct Neptune, or next week, in the next 2 weeks, right? Because Venus moves into Aries on the 20th. So, yeah, this is definitely a time for like going deep and like evaluating, asking yourself, like, am I being honest? Am I being like really honest? And are people being honest with me? Like, am I hearing them? Am I being like just the same way that you want to be conscientious of whether or not the people in your life right now, like, are they good listeners? Are they good friends? Like, are they caring people? Do they love you? And like, what is that? What does that look like? This is something that you should be evaluating in yourself as well. Like, are you being a good friend? Are you being a good listener? Are you being a good partner? Are you being a good nurturer to the people in your life? And not necessarily in the like big picture, like community way, but more in the like, oh shit, this is like really like at me. I'm like adding myself right now, because I know the last like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even like the last month or so, I've been very focused on rebuilding my program, connecting with my people so that I can like ask them questions and like get the data that I need so that I could make the decisions and move forward, and writing a fuckload of horoscopes and all kinds of stuff, right? Just like kind of establishing like my rhythm for the year. And now I'm good. I'm feel like I'm finally like I can breathe and I can take a break, and it's like perfect timing for the full moon weekend. But definitely for me, it's like, hey, Fanny, how much time are you spending like with the people who matter? Because I know that I've probably spoken, I don't know, 50 words or less to my boyfriend this week, like the whole week, because he's been working and I've been working. But I've been working like a lot more than usual. So it'll be like, I'm here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm like just on my computer doing various things, whether it's like writing or client sessions or whatever, until like 8 o'clock at night. and I'll get up and like stretch or like go eat or something, like be a person, but like mostly just like here in front of my computer. It's because I've just been in this like zone getting shit done. And yeah, like it's great. I love my community. You know, I love you so much. Like literally that's, I jump out of bed in the morning and I go to yoga and I'm like, okay, great. Like I'm thinking about y'all and I'm like, okay, what do we get to do today? What do we get to talk about today? Like, what are we, and that's great. It's great that I think about my community and the impact and what we want to do together so much. But none of that matters if I am not spending the time that I need to with my boyfriend, with my daughter, with my friends, with myself, just like literally doing nothing, eating Cheez-Its and watching some stupid documentary or whatever. Has anybody watched this Gunther's Millions documentary? I kind of watched it this week while I was working, and I'm gonna have to watch it again because like it's a dog, but it's a dog that has like a staff of like 20 people or something. But it's not a dog, it's like a sex cult. I don't know what's happening. I have to watch it again. So maybe I can make some sense of that and we'll talk about it next week. That is actually something that I would love to hear from y'all, whether you're watching the replay on YouTube or whether you are here watching this now, whatever. If you want to go pop it over into my Discord, stories, celebrities, public figures, even like events, right? Like historical events, like we've been talking about, like the American Revolution. Yesterday we went all in on Saturn and we were talking about potentially like war in 2025, all kinds of stuff. I don't want to go back there again. I'm having a great day. I don't want to do that. We'll talk about it again another day. But that would be great. Just like pop me some ideas. I've always got ideas, but it's always nice to hear from y'all so that I can hear, more about what you want to talk about. I'm also really thinking about doing some I used to have this YouTube channel, or I have a YouTube channel now, but this is back in 2018 maybe, 2019. I had a YouTube show where I was doing, I called it Reality Tea Time with Tiffany, because right, it's Fanny is Tiffany is Mama Capricorn, don't call me Tiffany. So anyway, Reality Tea Time is when I would watch like Big Brother or Love Island or whatever, and I would be guessing what I thought their signs were, just based on their behavior, because I'm actually like scary good at guessing people's signs, and if not sun signs, like I can nail if you have like action in a certain house or it's anyway. And I would hope so after reading this many charts for me to not be able to see the trends. I don't know. Anyway, but now they have these shows that are coming out. There's one called Written in the Stars, but that one was kind of boring. And then there was another one that was on Amazon. I can't remember what it was called right now, but they're literally like astrology dating shows. Are you kidding me? I'm living. I'm coming alive. And then the other day I was watching Married at First Sight, and one of these brides just pops off with her whole ass birth time. She was like talking to her mom and saying something about how she was making a joke about how her mom's been waiting for this moment, for her to get married, and then she said her birth date. She said since September, blah, 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 at 2:05 a.m. and her mom's like, it's 2:09, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you so much, because obviously I had to nerd out about that, but I lose my shit when I'm literally I can feel my hair standing up. I get really excited to talk about things like that, right? So if there is a specific show or whatever, let me know, because that is the kind of stuff that I enjoy. Just it's my version of shit posting, you know what I mean? And it's truly for people who want to learn astrology and not just from an information driven perspective, but you like want to learn how astrology can manifest in different people, or, you know, whatever, that can be a really fun way of doing it. I was actually also thinking about doing this, like, it's almost like a game or like an exercise, an activity, I guess you could say, in my Discord. And basically what it is it's like case study astrology. But what we would do is, it would not be a famous person. It would be like I would use maybe my boyfriend's or like my best friend's or something, and I would cut off her birth time and I would post it. And whoever it is that gets the closest to like describing her would then get to do the same thing, right? Post with a chart that doesn't have information there, and then we would just like keep going. Because it's easy to read celebrity charts, like easy, because they're constantly putting themselves out there and the information is readily available. So that's great. It can be a fun way for you to like get off the ground with starting to learn about it. But then it can get even more nuanced and more fun when you're actually like reading people that you don't know. And when you start to get things right, you're like, oh shit, like I actually am absorbing this and I'm actually like learning something, and I can apply this. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot more to give you today, if I'm completely honest. I've done a lot this week. Did all of the horoscopes. I did all of the rising sign. If you're on my email list and you skipped the link this morning to go check out that present, go back to your email and go open it, because I promise you're going to want to open it. It's got a link to the horoscope that I posted for everyone for February on my podcast. But it's also got all of the rising signs broken down by week, like week to week. So I've got like specific reflections for you for each of your rising signs, or for each of the rising signs for every week for February, and then some other like cool stuff. So yeah, I went to yoga this morning. I did like a power flow, and I'm spent. I'm gonna go chill for a little bit, and then I have a restore class that I'm gonna go to in about an hour. So I think I'm gonna check out early today. I love y'all so much. This has been the first full week that I've had doing this, and yeah, this is even more fun than I thought it would be, to be truly honest with you. If you're not yet, please make sure that you go hang out in my Discord. The link is on my profile. I would love to see you in there. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, I will talk to you on Monday. Have a beautiful Leo full moon weekend. I'll see you on Monday.